All right, welcome back. I am Chi Vital, and I'm back with another tool for your toolkits. Welcome to the House of Chi, where spirituality meets reality, and we are about to get started. What a title for tonight! I know I'm not usually here on Tuesdays. I'm actually breaking the mold on this Mars Day, but I have a message for you all, and I told you yesterday morning. Shouts out to all of my Live at Five meditation family that I will be back because I already knew I was going to be in charge of bringing these messages to you. Once it's given to me and it's revealed, like, no, this is going to be very helpful to the family. I sit with it for a minute, organize it, of course, so that it can make sense. And I'm about to bring it to you. So, welcome, fam. Welcome. Everybody, y'all already know, light me up with these hearts. Light me up with these hearts. But you know what? Let's change the color for tonight. Let's do some yellow and black, black and yellow, black and yellow. And let's definitely put some crowns in the chat. I like how those magic wands look. Nice. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Who's from that? Who's from the city? Who's from the city of the black and yellow? Light up the chat. Light up the chat. Let me see those crowns. Let me see all those crowns in the building. I want to see that the royal family is here. What up? What up? If y'all ready to jump in this joint, like, light it up. Thumbs up the video. Welcome if you're new and you really find that this content is helpful to your life. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. You can always unsubscribe if you're not feeling the content in the future, but your subscription absolutely helps my channel grow and gets the messages out to more people. All right. I'm here to serve the people, but not be a servant, and teach you all the same thing. All right. All right. I'm going to get started. If you have your notebooks, press one in the chat because you're wanting to take notes here because, as you all know, you have access to the replay. But when you take notes while you're listening, you'll have some questions that will arise. And I love when you guys participate by putting your questions in the chat. And whenever we have time, I can address your questions. And it's just better that way, you know? So, where do I begin? First of all, the reason why I'm here with this message before tomorrow, which is usually when you'll see me here, is because we have a very powerful solar eclipse, a total solar eclipse, might I add. Okay. So, for those of you who might not know this, many of you already know, is that when we have a total solar eclipse, we have the sun being overcast, covered up by the moon. Okay, traditionally, these eclipses are seen as malevolent, okay, nefarious, because the people who practice the science of astronomy, of astrology, and putting things in order to govern the masses, those were the royals. They were the ones who were actually practicing the science. Okay. And so when they saw certain signs, a sign like this definitely forewarned them that they needed to protect their leader. And in this case, we can say king, but bringing it forward into future tense, talking about your leaders, those who are standing in the front line, those who are really shining, those who have a lot of power, okay, over groups of people. Okay. On the macro level, we can look at the different presidents around the world. In our own lives, you can look at maybe the boss or the CEO of your company. If that's you, if you are the boss, if you are the CEO, you are the president of your company, or you are the head of your household, in that case, this kind of reflects on you, right? Not kind of, it actually does. So, because a lot of you here are in that position of leadership, of powerful leadership, and are some of you like really working on getting closer to climbing to the peak, right? You want to be very mindful of this energy. This is not a fear mongering, because obviously I put death to the wicked, which means this is going to put you in a position of power and how to address this energy in the best way. I knew that it was important to share with you all because I'm I was baffled. I sometimes you guys, there's a large amount of people who reach out. You have requests, you have questions, and I have to say one of the most recent requests and conversations that really threw me off, based on how intense you guys sadhana is and the level of magic in practical spiritual workings that you all practice, that you are doing at home, that you are purchasing and applying to your lives. There was a situation that really baffled me. And I'm going to get more into what that was. I'm going to use an example of what I'm talking about. But before I do, let's get started, right? Let's start from the top. So, this energy, first of all, tonight, the 11th, we're on the eve of the solar eclipse. So you're already in this energy. I understand that. So after this video, I'm just going to ask you all to do me a favor. Okay? I'll let you know what that is in a minute. First of all, it's a new moon tomorrow. So we're definitely looking at new seeds, new plans, starting something new. But this is not just a starting something new. This is an emergence of something emerging. So something is coming forward. But what I already, oh yes, some of the families already experiencing um, the feeling of the solar eclipse even more intensely now, right? But I digress. This energy that you all are feeling right now, what I received is that there is a little bit of what is like befuddlement, like something new is coming because you're aware of things dying and falling away. However, you're not all the way clear yet what completion or that new thing really fully feels like and looks like. Okay? There's a lot of you who are in a space where you're like exactly that, just the intensity and the irritability of, I know that this is it, like I've reached a threshold, it's time. But what is very I want to choose my words wisely and make sure that it's very clear. Okay, what you all want to be mindful of, and I call it the empty seat. Okay, for some of my private students, they understand this concept. As the old thing is moving out, we have what is called the empty seat, and the empty seat is very much a dangerous threshold. What am I talking about? When you're leaving your old self behind and you're not all the way in the clear of what is going to emerge, there is a vacuum that opens up. All right. And usually we use this vacuum to pull in exactly what we want. However, during this time, this eclipsed energy, during this time, that vacuum can potentially pull in certain energy that should not be re-emerging. Okay. What I gather is that there's a little bit of blocked energy, is distorted, and it can potentially misdirect or like misfire on your new beginning. All right. So, what you have to have is a certain level of patience so that whatever that old thing that is dying, while you are trying to fully understand what it is, you don't want to just quickly replace it, because this particular threshold will throw new shiny objects at you, and those particular things can kind of throw your focus in the wrong direction. And this is where you can, as much as you fight against it, you can find yourself feeling mentally scattered. You can find yourself moving into the energy of being impulsive. You will feel yourself feeling like unusually reactive. Okay. And for that reason, you become uncertain about what you truly believe. And I don't want you to take that energy and be tempted to start something from being angry, because you want to always start from a place of being clear. Okay. So this is a warning not to be pulled towards ideas or influences that normally they wouldn't be able to penetrate you. Okay. So as we're in this transitional energy, because the eclipse is a transitional energy, it's not just a bam. There's a transitional energy. It can feel confusing, right? But just because it feels a little confusing does not mean that you should grant it your spiritual permission. Press 1 in the chat if that makes sense. Okay. When we're in this transitional energy, we're going to call it like unstable. Okay. It's not unstable because you're weak. It's not unstable because you haven't been doing your work. Naturally, if something has to fall apart, it has to be unstable. If it was already really solid, then it's not going to fall apart. It's going to stand strong. Okay. But that's okay. It's a warning. It doesn't mean that you're doomed, especially because you are receiving the foresight, right? We say hindsight is 2020. We say foresight is 100. Okay, 100%. You have your perception ready, because whatever happened behind you, yeah, sure, you might be able to see it clearly, but what can you do about that? Okay. So your guess is as good as mine, because I feel that you all are on track. When I tune into this energy, it says that folks are on track. It's just that it's really sensitive. It's like a severe, uh, it's a severe case of DNR. For all my medical folks, that y'all know what I'm talking about. DNR means do not resuscitate. The energy here and the warning is you on the right track. DNR. So for those of you experiencing what feels like, okay, damn, that shit is falling apart. This right here is like a recurring irritation to my spirit. This is a battle that I've been fighting for forever, right? And then you got to a place where you know how to guard your peace, or like not to be reactive to that. It's saying don't reopen that wound, don't reopen that door, don't take down that boundary that you've already learned to stand strong in. Do not resuscitate is there because whatever that thing is or it was is already coded. So why are you going to put your breath, your life force? Why are you going to offer CPR to something that has already coded? That thing is done, is It's finished. So whatever that habit is, like if you already put down the pack of cigarettes a day, it's not a good time for someone to irritate you and for you to go, okay, yeah, I'm gonna just smoke one. Because you will be giving your life force to something that you already knew is dead. Like you're working on your health regimen, you're working on your breath quality and your lifestyle, your being raising your vibration. Understood? If you've already decided, okay, well, this is my time slot where I'm not going to do anything else unrelated to my business. It doesn't matter who's banging down the door, who's ringing your phone. Do not open that door up to where whatever that kind of dynamic is or it was can pull you back into something that you know that's dead. That right there is dead. Okay? Because what happens when we give our spiritual permission, we take down our boundaries and we give our breath, CPR, life force to something that has already coded. What happens when we bring something that's dead back to life? What kind of being do we start working with now? Energetically, I want to know what kind of being. Thank you, Sakal. The zombie. Okay. And what do we know about a zombie? That zombie energy is rotten. It's root rot. No matter what you pour on it, no matter what you feed it, it is not real. It looks alive, but it's not real. All it can do is look for brains, just trying to take your consciousness, and even still, it's not. It can never be sustained. So you don't want whatever it is that is already dead to become a zombie, because if you watch any movie, really, like they have no frontal lobe. Okay, so they just keep on creating like these nonsensical, chaotic experiences in your life, and it will throw you into, I need to survive, I gotta protect myself, I gotta focus on this, but I can't because I gotta do this, and it's not a good look. So when you look at what's happening around you, pay attention to what is really bringing you that energy that feels like you're blossoming. Pay attention, especially right now. Pay attention to your nervous system. You will know if you're in the right space if your nervous system is super chill and calm. Okay? Because a chill, peaceful nervous system means that there is a synergy and there's a resonance in your electricity. And we know that when the electricity of our bodies is moving in a harmonious way, we are able to execute on what it is that we desire to manifest with lightning speed. You feel me? Your nervous system is your electrical system. Here's another thing, right? That I received. Don't ignore the presence of the intangible wealth in your life for the forced versions of what wealth is. You feel me? Like if you genuinely love money, it's going to start showing up in your world and bringing that sense of peace for you. But don't switch up what you truly desire. Like you really love money when you really love plants or something. And the reason being is that you can't swap what you truly love and desire in this energy and replace it with something tangible like money and think that you're going to tap into wealth the same way. Your wealth is just a real sensitive type of energy. It doesn't want to be the same as everybody else. Like your relationship with wealth is so damn personal. That's why there's people who are giving game and some people who follow the game all the way and they just don't tap in. And the more that we're elevating our consciousness, it doesn't work that way. As like the old regime, it doesn't work the same. So if you can tap into what it is that you truly are in love with, your wealth is going to come with that. It's just a science where if you are trying to force yourself to love something because it brings wealth or money to pay the bills, you actually misalign with the wealth that is behind what you love. Yeah, I see it all the like it just is. Like there's folks who like, oh, I really want some there's so many people like it's interesting, right? It's like hella people online now on YouTube who have like these beautiful platforms and they're doing all of this like spiritual enlightenment, but they came from working a corporate 9 to 5. They already had bread. And then they, for whatever reason, right? They all have the same story. They were busting their knuckles to get that bread, but they still couldn't find themselves in a peace of mind. And so their wealth would not sustain itself. It's like they continue to make more bread, but they could never find themselves in a real surplus because they weren't really tapped into what they fully love. But then when they moved into an energetic of whatever subject matter, if it's putting on makeup, if it's doing interior design, if it's fixing stuff, and then they're sharing it with the world, suddenly now they've done flip their bread. They've used the knowledge of how to invest that money, but now they have money that's really flowing in surplus and they're enjoying their lives. Okay? So this is just a reminder that for those of you who find yourself getting wobbly and anxious because you're like, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a billionaire, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a billionaire, I want to be a millionaire, billionaire. People who really, 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 really love money, like it's okay. Like there are people who really, really love money. Okay? And they get a lot of money. Like Asota is one of those people in real life. And some people are really like that. But when they say that, like, it's not a matter of, oh, I saw such and such with this money and now I want money. Because that is connected to another energy, which I'm going to talk about, which is one of the wickeds, which is envy, jealousy, comparison. We're going to talk about the wickeds because death to the wicked, we want to know what are the wickeds. Okay? So that we clear with that so far? So I want you to take note that if you are witnessing certain things that are falling away, okay? If you are witnessing that there are things that are impossible for you to ignore anymore. Like some of y'all really like stomach certain shit like in your life. It's like, I'm just gonna thug it out. But you've gotten to a point where you're like, I can't ignore that no more. You understand? Like, I can't ignore that there are people who allow other people to play with their children and they second guess when it's time to like throw the consequences at those individuals messing with their children. I can't ignore that. You understand? That's not clear for me. So that's what I mean. All right. Your compassion, you like, my compassion is up to here. And then that's about that. I saw somebody say that I know I love money. Everybody who really, really loves money, I want you to shout it out right now. And I want you to light up the chat with any amount of money that it is that you want. Okay? Light it up. Light it up. I want you to light it up. If you feel any kind of hesitation about writing that, if you feel like your breath gets shortened and you still know it's true, like you really do love money. We're not talking about how you get it, you just really love money. Okay? Wealth and money are not the same. So I'm talking about money. Okay? If your love is true, you should get a sign of it this week. If your love is true, when you get your money ritual, you're going to see that bread very fast. If you're seeing that you keep on saying you love something, but it's not coming to you in abundance, I promise you, it's you. Okay? It's you. It's nobody else. It's you. Okay? Now, what's another thing I want to share with y'all? Yo, I already told y'all arguing is not a good look. Some of y'all like to argue about the same thing over and over again. Like, don't do that to your children. Don't do that to your mates. Don't do that to your coworkers. Don't do that with your animals. Okay? Y'all think I'm just talking. Look, I have a cat that I love. I love her. Okay? But after she started doing certain behaviors that are unacceptable for being in a domestic situation, I didn't argue with her no more. I didn't tell her you can't do that. You get out. Don't be on my couch. Don't poop in the carpet. Nah. I said you going outside. And I feel chill. She get her food, she get her water, she get time to be rubbed down outside. But we're not going to be arguing about how you're going to be moving in my house. Right? So y'all need to have that same energy. Like, you should not be going back and forth with anybody about some old stuff. If you already talk to your children and was like, all right, these are the rules, this is how we moving, you should not be repeating yourself over and over again. If it's with your partner and it's like you just trying to get them to do something that just it ain't in them, pivot. Okay? Pivot for the life of peace. Because if you really want some bread coming in your house, you want that wealth, I keep it clean and peaceful. Okay? Clean and peaceful. And peaceful doesn't mean that it has to be like kumbaya in your house. It means that the energy has to be harmonious. Okay? No more fussing. And the thing is, it's no more fussing, and you're going to feel like you want to fuss in this energy. People, even if you don't want to fuss, people are going to be fussing at you. It's like, it's your fault. Everything is your fault. You'll be like, okay. All right. Okay. So here's the funny thing, right? When I said people are going to be fussing at you, what happens is this: moving through a solar eclipse energy, which means you're clear, right? Clear. You're clear about creating a safe space for the incubation of what is coming next. What does that mean? That means you're getting ready for the surgery. You done scrub down the surgical operating room, okay? You done put on your gloves and your little hazmat looking suit. Once you close that door for this operation to occur, what's going to happen? Somebody who does not want to see that surgery happen is going to come knocking on the door, that glass door. Let me in. Let me in. What you going to do? You going to open the door? You going to let the contaminants in when you open the door? You going to hold them up? You going to stop? You going to touch the glass to try to mime to them? I'm trying to do a surgery right now. No, you want to keep the door closed. But what's going to happen is them banging at the door, that's the resistance to the change. But that's natural. Them making the noise outside, them kicking the door, that's the energy of, damn, I don't have access to this particular space. And if they don't have access to the space, that means they were late, like, and coming in. Everybody who's in the room, they are scrubbed up and they're ready to go. Understand? So it's natural. I want you all to get comfortable with resistance. Resistance is your friend. Resistance means that something is actually fighting with you. When something is fighting for access, I want you to understand something. Nothing is going to fight for you if you don't have value. Nothing is going to want you to pay attention when you are really trying to focus and shift into your big transition if it doesn't have value. Okay? So don't let the resistance make you second guess yourself, because you are in a very vulnerable threshold. And like I mentioned in the beginning, is that when you're in this vulnerable threshold, you don't want to mix up your brain on, damn, I closed the door and they're banging on the door. It feels like passion. It feels like strong desire to be in here. Meanwhile, it's the resistance only simply because you scheduled the time for the surgery. You blocked out the time for your meditations, for your mantras, for your magic. And for whatever reason, what's going on out there no longer matters. You got to pay attention to the nuance between that outside passion that's fighting, that's resisting what you're moving through. Because you're, again, I tell you guys, you're your own soul. The best part of really knowing your own soul is that you can connect with the souls that are in the right frequency with what your soul needs so you can collaborate harmoniously. You can't be in fear and scarcity, okay? Because wealth doesn't live there at all. Okay? All right. So in this era or this space, this phase of from tonight through tomorrow, I'm gonna give you the timestamps for tomorrow. If you're really feeling that resistance, you know what I'm saying? Either your phone is getting blown up, you're getting news of this, that, and the third that's just kind of triggering you, making you question, which way do I go? What's my final draft pick? All of that. For me, it's listening to like some hardcore hip hop got out the mud. Like, it's not even about my outside. It's not about the outside team in the moment, but it's about like that team inside of me. It's about the team, my spiritual team. It's about my guides. It's about my protective warriors. It's about um it's about, one second. It's about, at the end of the day, what aspects of yourself do you know are always going to ride with you? And I call this my peaceful warrior space. Okay? Twin hands. Is that my twin hands? Is that Mary? What's up, lady? Okay? I call it my peaceful warrior music because the peaceful warrior is not that they don't go to war, is that they're willing to go to war to maintain the peace. And anything else outside of that will not knock them off of a square. Because, like, to not be at peace with yourself, y'all already know how it goes. If you're not at peace with yourself, then you are living in war constantly. So that peaceful warrior is like, all right, I already know that I've been through A, B, C, D. It got me through E, F, G, and now I'm taking it all the way to Z. In order for you to be a great collaborator, you got to be good on your own. You got to have something that you know that's really your lane. That's really the sauce that you bring to the team. So when you feel challenged, whether it's tonight, like I'm saying, like you feeling like there's like resistance and certain levels of chaos that's coming at you, you're just like, what? WTF? I said for me, it's listening to some hustle type hip hop music, because the softer music for me during this period of time, it can make me feel a little too relaxed. And I like to feel the sharp edge of my sword. That actually gives me not just relaxation, but it gives me a certain level of access to more energy because I feel like my warrior energies are protecting my space so I could dance. Make sense? I don't know. That's just how I interpret it. I figure, if it's helpful to me, it might be helpful to you. That makes sense? Because yes, I will be dressed like this. Listen to. All right. You want to use that energy just to help you stand your ground. That's what that energy is about. You want a certain vibration. For some of you, if it's not music, it's practicing your martial arts. For some of you, I wrote down like there might be a particular yoga pose that really challenges you. Square away some time to really push through that pose. It might be a simple asana where you just sitting in lotus and your knees, your thighs, your hips are like, please let me out of this. Push yourself. Like set the timer. 30 minutes, you're good. 45 minutes, you're screaming, set it to 45 minutes and go hard, like fight for that joint. Like, because you want that energy. You need that breakthrough energy to stand your ground. Okay? Feel free to throw some examples out for everybody who's watching who has access to this live chat. Shouts out to everybody who's in the live chat. Let's blow up the chat again with some crowns and that black and yellow. Let's lively up the chat. Some crowns. Got some Jeezy in the building. All right. So the point here is to give you more tools that are going to help you. The only way for you to be able to actually see all these things and position yourself properly is to tap in to become the commander. You're going to need to be the general. You're going to need to put on your suit where you are the commander in chief. The commander in chief or the general, I don't even want to use the example of commander in chief, like how we have a president that can like direct people to do things so that they don't have to go to war. I like more so the general, because the general been to war. The general has been to war, so the general has more respect for their soldiers, and the soldiers have even more respect for the general because they know the general is not just a suit that came in telling everybody what to do. Right? The general has a very clear idea of what it's like to be on the front line. And so they're better at operating in a sense of saying, all right, this is the strategy. They are already masterful and mature emotionally so that they will know ahead of time, right? That soldier's daughter's birthday is tomorrow. I'm not putting you in the field because emotionally you're going to be a little soft, because we're going to go into a village where some of the people you got to be worried about are kids strapped up. Not to get so like, gruesome with you, but a general has to understand all of the different holes that can be in the play in order to direct the soldiers in a way that's going to make the outcome successful. And for you guys, the outcome that is successful as you're moving through the solar eclipse energy, it's like the thumbnail. Being able to hold your crown here, holding it at the heart, so you can tune in to your divine self, see everything, be able to look around, up, down, all around without losing it. Secure that joint. Here, where? At the heart. Okay? Rest in peace to the wicked, because you got your crown here. Nothing could come at you and knock it off your head. These things are helpful for you to visualize for yourself. Use what you have already experienced. You gain maturity in these spaces because you've experienced certain things already. You've already tried at least 5 to 10 different ways of going about being successful in the face of any obstacles, any obstruction, any resistance, opposition. You know what's beautiful about this energy? The opposition is so loud. The opposition is so loud that it makes it impossible for you to ignore who's actually for you and who's not. This is why being quiet during this time is very helpful. Meanwhile, I saw somebody talk about they were fussing. You're fussing, you're being loud That's an energy that is opposing you. So I said, chill with the arguing. You know, congratulate people for all the different wins that they have going on in their lives. Okay? And finally, as a general, once you already mapped out the plan, what needs to be where, who needs to be where, like what are the different roles, who you collaborating with, and you're taking yourself seriously, it's time to secure your house. You got to secure your house. And how do you secure your house? You got to clean your house. You got to get rid of things that are draining your energy. You got to play the meditations that you have access to on Patreon through the house. You got to burn your frankincense, your myrrh, your dragon's blood. Right? Clean your house. And then clean your house, your physical self. So at least 2 hours before we go into your sadhana, 2 hours before you go into meditation. If you're going into meditation tonight, if you just ate something, you was over there munching at 10:30 at night, for those of you who are on the East Coast, 2 hours in the shower before you go into this meditation. Because you are in a dangerous threshold, and we're not afraid of danger. We just know how to navigate it so that we can get the best out of it. That makes sense? After your 2 hours of fasting in your shower, you want to chant your protective mantras. This is where I implore you to look through your notebooks. Look through your notebooks. Look through your celestial bodies notes. For those of you who have watched the celestial bodies playlist over here. Look at the grahas, the planets in your chart that are not well placed. They're grahas, right? They grab, they manipulate, they try to manipulate how you are experiencing life here on earth. Chant those mantras to ease their grip. During eclipses, okay, this solar eclipse, this is a beautiful opportune. This is a beautiful opportunity to 10x your mantra capacity, to 10x the power of your mantras. You know, some people, don't do anything during eclipse. Well, nah, this is actually super lit. Okay? And you don't need a bunch of light because the darkness is going to serve you. But when you are doing your protective mantras and you're going to be calling, I'm going to give you 2 mantras to work with. Okay? You only need 1 light, 1 candle light, 1 diya. Okay? 1 flame. So I have 3 levels here, right? For those of you who are new, again, I said welcome. It doesn't matter if, you know, what your religion is, your spiritual background is. I'm encouraging you to do the same thing. 2 hours of fasting. Fasting is, you know, that's okay over across the board. Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, whatever, right? Fast for the 2 hours. Take your shower. Choose your protective prayers, whether they're from a book, whether you're a poet and you write them yourselves. If you're a sorcerer and you have poetry that are incantations that come directly from you. If you are working with any entities that have incantations, if you're working with whatever scripts you have, mantras that are for protection, choose that joint and pray for that particular covering. Command that particular covering, because however it was working for you in the past is going to be amplified times 10. And it's going to come to you. That protection is going to be that much more potent. Okay? Shouts out to everybody who's coming to the Mahavijaya Yogini conference. I just want to take a moment to plug in this short commercial. If you are interested in coming to our Mahavijaya Yogini business conference this next month, September 11th, in the DMV, please text my number 202-810-1876 so you can be in real time in ceremony and receive the protection rights for uplifting, elevating, expanding, and increasing your wealth and your success with your businesses in all areas of wealth in your life. Okay? Y'all don't want to miss that. Talking about real deal protective energies, real deal money breakthroughs. Okay? If you want a breakdown of your chart, same number, hit me up at 202-810-1876. If you want a consultation, and your consultation to include things like what planets should what planetary treatments do you need? I offer that. I offer specific mantras that are related to your personal chart. These mantras that I'm giving out today are for general purposes. But if you want something that's very specific to you, then you need to text me at 202-810-1876. Okay? I repeat, if you're not in the building, don't say nothing where everybody else is like just shining and doing a thing. Because you're going to be the equivalent to the person outside of the surgery room banging on the glass. Yeah, you won't be able to get in after that. Okay? And for all of those people that you're trying to align with to collaborate so that you can take your joint to the next level, you won't be in the frequency to align with them. You would have missed a very, very huge opportunity. Don't second guess. We'll be having some more private lectures to prepare you all for that, especially because now we are in the 1 month, 30-day mark, and we always do a dope sadhana leading up to our ceremonies, which is why they're so fantastic. All right. So back to the solar eclipse energy. Protect your children. Protect your children. You all are doing so much work, on yourselves. You got to protect your children. You cannot second guess that. If some of the issues you've been having are revolving around people disrespecting your children, stealing from your children, abusing your children, mistreating them, you're second guessing being the active karma, you might as well just smack yourself in the head. Just go smack yourself. Okay? Like, some of y'all don't understand that. Work, I know we're grown-ups, right? But workings for protection and workings to be intentional about serving it up hot for those who have violated your being in a real way. Okay? This is not an encouragement for any violence. So I need to make that disclaimer for YouTube. But some of you get all interested in hexes, and then you backpedal. And I need y'all to understand something. Don't play with this science if that's not really what you're about, because you will get cut off from access to that. Imagine that you reach out to a security systems, black ops, for a mission. They've cleared everything to say, okay, this is a viable mission. We're going to take care of it. They got their people lined up ready to defend your honor. And then you go, oh, nah. You could never, ever have access to those elite soldiers ever again. So y'all need to, like, when it's time to cook somebody, and I'm talking about, just y'all know what I mean by that. YouTube, I'm not talking about doing something physical or whatever. So please don't don't ban me. Y'all know what I mean. When it's time to really like draw the line, you gotta draw the line. Or don't say nothing. You just stay down. Okay, you stay down, you own it. You own it. You own it. And then if anybody's depending on you to protect them, and they ever find out that you couldn't do that for them, you go and lay down with that karma. Because the same way how some of y'all have come up, you're like, I gotta break these generational curses. You know why some of y'all got these generational curses? Because somebody wouldn't stand up and protect you. You gotta think about this stuff. And this solar eclipse energy is like, son, at what point am I gonna let that scared part of me who is like not certain if I should protect myself or not, let that go? Honestly. Okay? Silent pause. So, death to the wicked. Death to the wicked. Now, I see some of y'all talking. I tell my children how I will cook someone in the pot or fire for them. Let me tell you something. I've heard it. People be talking big talk, okay, about what they would do if somebody violates you or blah, blah, blah. And, like, it's just a lot of people walking around needing a little fight club in their life for them to finally just break loose of this illusion of like, what do you have to lose? You come here, there's one life. What do you have to lose? Put your gloves on and fight for yourselves. All right. Before I go, I want to go into who are the wicked. Y'all ready for this? Or y'all done? Should I just we over? We done? Are y'all out? We like an hour in. Would y'all like some more? Press 1 in the chat if y'all want some more. I like y'all little swordsman. Y'all want some more? All right. Notebooks, y'all. Who are the wicked? Who are the wicked? The wicked. Let's start here. The wicked are the aspects of yourself that lead you to go astray from your personal North Star. Okay? The aspects of yourself that allow you to be led astray of your personal North Star. Some of you have worked so diligently to finally have an epiphany. And you have that epiphany, and the idea is so clear. You feel energized and finally courageous enough to start working on that thing. And you let somebody else snatch you from moving towards that North Star. And you feel the misalignment. And you feel like, God, this feels like I gotta take this risk. And then you go, okay. It's wicked. Know what a sin is? Know what a sin is? A sin is when you are shooting your arrow towards the bullseye and you miss. You missed your mark. Whatever it is that you focused on as a hunter and you miss, that's a sin. So your North Star, like you know your North Star. Because it's as if all the other things that you were trying to go at start falling away just so that you can become more clearer in what direction you're going in. Okay? And then you go ahead and miss it. You go ahead and miss it because you're looking at what this person is doing. You're looking at what this person is doing. Don't get the shiny object syndrome, because some of y'all see things as if it's something new and exciting and you actually already have access to it. That's so disrespectful. Because now what you already have access to is going to be like, oh, you thought that was better because it was on the other side, but you got the whole palace over here. You're looking at the condo and the high rise. You got a whole palace over here. Oh, okay. Go over there. Go over there. Oh, they realized that you came from the palace. Okay, well, since you came from the palace, you can't come over here. So you try to turn back and go to the palace, and then the palace is like, nah, you tried to go over there. Now where you at? Outside the surgery room. Pay attention to how easily you get distracted. That aspect of yourself is wicked. Okay? Now, another piece of the puzzle is that there are going to be those who try to misguide you. Okay? They are literally trying to misguide you from a place of ego, control, greed, and misplaced pride. You have to understand that. You have to understand that. Okay? So if that's the case, you have to be mindful of the other wickeds because they're related to it. You have jealousy, envy, cowardice, which is what I just was talking about a little bit, gossip, disease. Disease is dis-ease. It's the peace, the ease, the peace is missing. Okay? And so this whole lecture is not about being mad aggressive. If you pay attention to the entirety of this lesson, it's not about being the bigger aggressor. It's not about being like you're going to smack everybody in their head, right? It's about being so structurally strong that whatever is trying to destroy you cannot penetrate your structure. So it's not about you going out to go fight every tornado and obstruction and destructions coming at you. It's about, remember, becoming the commander, the general, building a structure, building that operation room. That whatever's happening on the outside, it cannot penetrate what you're doing. Okay? You want to guard your dangerous threshold because you got the empty seat. An empty seat is an invitation to any and everything. So keep your house clean. Keep your house clean. Build your structure. And lastly, I'll give you your mantras. Y'all ready? Press 1 in the chat if y'all ready for your mantras. All right, so I did put them down in the description box below this video. For those of you who are new to this work, but you are willing to light a lamp and get familiar with Bhairava, your particular mantra, which is safe for you to chant, with the intention of calling protection from the known and unknown negative energies and aspects that are trying to deter you from living your best and most elevated life, is Om Kala Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Kala Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Kala Bhairavaya Namaha. You want to chant that at least 54 times. 5-4, at least 54 times. And 54 in increments of 9. You're just fine. Okay? For those of you who want something a little more advanced and potent, you will chant the second mantra. Om Kala Bhairavaya Hum Pat. Om Kala Bhairavaya Hum Pat. Om Kala Bhairavaya Hum Pat. Okay? 54 times or more. One light. All you need is one light. Now, for those of you who are on the Discord, I'll drop a little more advanced mantra. For those of you who are serious, you know what? Everybody who's coming to the Mahavijaya Yogini Business Conference, because the mantra is going to be important for you all. As you know, Bhairava is in the center. Anyways, I'll get into that. Right? These mantras are no joke. These mantras are no joke in calling in protection. Especially during this time, they are amplified protection. You don't need to know exactly what you're protecting yourself from specifically. The intention that I gave you is perfectly fine. Okay? So I just want to thank you all for being here, for hanging out with me tonight. Like I said, you can start tonight. Timestamps for tomorrow because the solar eclipse is active. Tomorrow morning, this is the East Coast time, from around 11:30 a.m. all the way straight through 4 p.m. So yeah, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 hours. I taught you all that the time period of the actual eclipse gives you an idea of how many years that what happens now that you'll have an effect. It'll have an effect on your life. So it begins, right? It begins at around 11:30 a.m., 11:34 a.m., but 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. But between 1 and 2:30 p.m. is where we're having the peak eclipse. Okay, that's where it's all the way active, the peak eclipse. And because that 1 to 2:30 is about what, 2 hours, think about the intensity of the changes that are occurring are going to have a very strong effect on your life for the next 2 years. Okay? The next 2 years. The whole operation from 11:30 to 4 p.m., that's 2 to 4 years of impact. So take this time seriously. But absolutely, if you can, tonight, just do a shower in total darkness. No, don't listen to anything. Just meditate. Tomorrow, you have time, clean out your space, smoke it out, set up your altars, because I am certain you're going to receive some very special sadness for tomorrow. For those of you who are on the next level in the Slytherin Discord, if you don't know what I'm talking about, again, text my number 202-810-1876, 202-810-1876. Of course, my information is down in the description box so that you can join us. It's never too late to join us. There's so much information for you. Okay? It's 3 a.m. here. Now, eclipse day, can I do it now? Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Jump in the shower, cleanse yourself, hit this mantra, and just put out that protection. Because essentially, when we go into the room for surgery, the reason why we're cleaning and all of that is to protect from what? Parasites, to protect from bacteria, to protect from all types of germs that just don't belong in a space. Okay? A sorta said the last sadhana will be dropped tomorrow morning. So y'all need to be ready to get that. Okay? Tomorrow morning, y'all. Everybody needs to be up. You can use a oil lamp. It doesn't have to be any particular color. Okay? A white or a black candle is fine. I, in particular, like working with a black candle when it comes to eclipse energy, because black candles are super powerful protective energy. And with drawing whatever energies are around you spiritually, energetically, that are negative, obstructive, distracting to it, absorbs it, gets it up out of there. But you can set a white candle to anything, and you can use sesame seed, you can use mustard seed oil for your lamp. Those are also clear the negative energy. Okay? That's all I got for y'all. Y'all have a good night. Peace, love, and bliss. Or grab that sadhana tomorrow morning. Don't miss it. Because if you miss it, you're going to be behind the ball scrambling. And you don't need to be scrambling. Just be chill. Chill. All right.